ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Namaste, all of you. Welcome back to our continuing study of this great work, Vivekachudamani, Shankaracharya's magnum opus, and taught to us lovingly and compassionately by our dear Guru, Swami Paramarthananda. It would be useful to recall the three meanings given out by Swamiji for the term Vivekaha right at the beginning of the text. The first meaning that Swamiji gave was the faculty of discrimination is called Viveka. The second meaning, which is an implied meaning, second and third meanings are implied meanings. The second meaning Swamiji gave was Viveka Shakti Vyaparaha. The first meaning Swamiji called Viveka Shakti, the power of discrimination. The second meaning for Viveka that Swamiji gave out was Viveka Shakti Vyaparaha, meaning employing the God given Viveka Shakti, judiciously employing this faculty of Viveka Shakti. Viveka Shakti Vyaparaha. And the third meaning that Swamiji gave was Viveka Shakti Vyapara Janya Jnanam. Viveka Shakti Vyapara Janya Jnanam. Of these three meanings, even to an ordinary person, a person who doesn't know Vedanta and knows a little bit of Sanskrit, will understand the meaning of the first of the term Viveka, the generic meaning Viveka Shakti, the power to discriminate, applicable in all walks of life, not necessarily only in the study of Vedanta. But in the context of studying Vivekachudamani, Swamiji said, we're going to use extensively the second and the third meanings. That is, Viveka Shakti Vyaparaha, to be able to understand how to employ Viveka Shakti in such a manner which will give rise to Viveka Shakti Vyapara Janita Jnanam, which is the third meaning. So the second and third meanings are going to be extensively employed or used. The word Viveka is going to be used in this meaning, second and third meaning. And Chudamanihi is the crest jewel that is worn by women on their forehead. And the final meaning of this compound Viveka Chudamanihi equates to the crest jewel of discrimination. The crest jewel of discrimination. Why does Shankaracharya use Chudamani? Very simple to intuit. Chudamani is worn on the forehead, and Viveka Shakti has to be in no other place but in the head. So Viveka Chudamani at the highest point of the body, where the brain is located. We have to use our brain. Like Krishna says, Mai Arpita Mano Buddhi. It's not, spiritual journey is not just emotional crying, it's not shedding copious tears. It's also to employ our Buddhi Shakti, Viveka Shakti. So Viveka Chudamani means the crest jewel of discrimination. In deciphering a Sanskrit compound, one has to temporarily become an Urdu, Swamiji would say. You have to decipher it from right to left, going right to left. So Chudamani and then Viveka, crest jewel of discrimination. So this was the meaning that Swamiji gave us. Then we looked at the first three verses. The first verse being a reverential namaskara that Shankaracharya offered his revered Guru, Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya. And through this namaskara, he has prostrated the entire Guru Parampara, right up to Ishvara. Guru Namaskara and Ishvara Namaskara are synonymous, considered synonymous in our tradition. After Guru and Ishvara Namaskara, Shankaracharya began the teaching from the second verse. In the second and third verses, and a few more verses, Shankaracharya is praising this rare human birth. Manushya Janma Prashamsa he is doing. By mentioning how rare it is to achieve this birth. In the midst of Ishvara's 84 lakh species, the human species is the rarest of them all. And therefore, he, as a caring, compassionate guru, he is concerned that human beings don't fritter this opportunity given to them. Not only does Shankaracharya do Narajanma Prashamsa, but all over our scriptures, all, 4 over 5 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 For example, in the Bhagavata Purana, in the Uddhava Gita, there is a portion called Avadhuta Gita, in which Manushya Janma Prashamsa is conducted, is taught. Bhagavata Purana is considered a very sacred text in our tradition. So, and many other texts, I'm sure, due to the limitation of my memory, probably I'm not able to recall. But from Swamiji's teaching, having attended Swamiji's Uddhava Gita classes, I recall this. And significantly, there is a reference made in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Very interesting. I just heard it today from Swamiji during one of his classes. See, Brahman's nature is, as taught in the Upanishads, is Sat Chit Ananda Ananta. And through the Gita, we know Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Puranaha Nitya Sarvagatasthanu Achaloyam Sanatanaha. All these teachings come out in the Gita. Although Brahman, the Supreme Paramatma's Swarupa Lakshanam is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Anandam. The Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says Brahman has no means of knowing that I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Anandam Nityaha Sarvagataha, because knowledge requires instruments of knowledge specific to the area under discussion. So the Upanishad says that this Brahman takes an avatara, as it were, chooses to take an avatar, chooses to be born, as it were, although not born in actuality, it is born, the Upanishad says. Whereas we Manushyas, Ajnanis, think that birth is meant to is caused by the fructifying prarabdha karma, and it is meant to exhaust prarabdha karma. This is our normal understanding. But this is not what the Upanishad says. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that Brahman ajopi san avyayatma. Krishna says in the Gita, I am not born, I don't, but through my Maya, I am born, as it were. Why am I born? Because I want to know, I have a desire, Brahman also has a desire to know that he himself is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. And he takes birth to know that he is not born. He never is given birth to. He's never born. To understand this, and also to understand before leaving this body that he never dies. This Ajaha and Sanatanaha To understand these two aspects of Brahman, the Upanishad says the Brahman takes an avatara, implying that all of us are avatars. Avatara in the positive sense. Sometimes the word avatara is used to scold somebody. Oh, what an avatara you are. No, that's not what the Upanishad means. The Upanishad is saying, in other words, all of us in this human frame are avatars, are Brahmans, are already Brahman, but we are born, as it were, to understand that we are Brahman. That is how precious human Janma is. See, when Shankaracharya and all the great acharyas, reiterate the point that human Janma is a very rare happening, there must be some solid ground, some basis for them to make such observations, right? They are great acharyas. They won't make some empty, loose statements. There has to be some solid uh, truth to back their statements. This is the truth. This is the ultimate truth. We are Brahman in human form. We are not, as a great person said, we are not human beings seeking a spiritual experience, but we are essentially spiritual beings going through an incidental human experience. I think this was Swamiji talks about this often. I think written by Wayne Dyer in one of his books. We are not essentially human beings seeking a spiritual experience. We are essentially spiritual beings going through an incidental human experience. We are essentially Brahman. Look how the Upanishad is teaching the fact of our true nature. This is why Shankaracharya and the other greats are concerned. Even in Tamil, there are any number of references. Ippiravi tappinal eppiravi vaikyumo. There is a lovely Tamil song which runs like this. Nandavanathil orandi நாலாறு மாதமாய் குயவனை வேண்டி கொண்டு வந்தானோரு தோண்டி அதை கூத்தாடி கூத்தாடி போட்டுடை தாண்டி நந்தவனத்தில் ஓராண்டி. It has a great message in it. We will look into it in the upcoming capsule. Hari Om.